sad. You can see I was playing Hogwarts Legacy. Oops, this way. And I just kind of stopped in the middle of it. Okay, that's cool. Hey everyone, my name is Teresa. If you're new here, welcome. I do videos on whatever I want because I don't like putting myself in a box. And so today, I don't think I really told you guys, but I finally did 23andMe. And so, yeah. Did this just start over? My timer just like started over. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, nope, we're still going. Okay, I'm gonna do my intro again in case I didn't catch it. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Teresa. I do videos on whatever I want because I don't like putting myself in a box. And today I'm really excited because I don't think I really told you guys that I was doing 23andMe, but I did the health portion of it. So a lot of people, when I told them in person that I was doing 23andMe, they automatically assumed I was doing the ancestry part of it. I have not done that yet. I'm still debating on doing it or not. But if you're new here, I am a adoptee with a closed adoption, so that means I know absolutely nothing about my biological family. And so my genetics have always just been a complete mystery to me. I did this because there is such thing as adoption trauma, and there are very specific certain things that adoptees can struggle with, like identity is a huge thing that I struggle with because I can't look at my family and kind of assume that, okay, my parents are diabetic, so I'm at risk for diabetes as well. Um, can't do that with my family. So it's always been a struggle for me, especially health wise, because I have had a huge journey with health. If you're new here, I went on a weight loss journey in February, literally last year. That's crazy. I started my weight loss journey with a medication called Fenterman literally a year ago, in 2023. I almost said 2013. What year are we in? And so I ended up losing 58 pounds on the medication. I really made that choice because I saw what my adopted family was dealing with because they didn't take care of themselves. And there's a whole video on it on my channel. I'll probably leave the link down in the comments actually of this video. So anywho, we're just gonna get right into it because I'm blabbling. So never really knew my genetics, and so I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. I did talk to my doctor first because if insurance could have covered it, then obviously. But fortunately they don't, and don't even get me started on it because that's so stupid, especially for adoptees. But there were only a few things that really shocked me. So the first thing was sleep and movement. So it says based on your genetics, you're likely to move about an average amount during sleep. This was kind of interesting because I feel like when I was younger, I moved a lot in my sleep, but now I'm actually very like still in my sleep. So that's not too much of a shock. I did print all of them out just to have them on hand because um yeah, technology. So the next thing is saturated fat and weight. It said your weight is likely to be similar on diets high or low in saturated fat with the same number of calories. So from my understanding, it's saying that my weight and stuff won't, and saturated fats or whatever, isn't really going to change if I stay in the same amount of calories. So it says people with your genetic result tend to have similar BMI on diets with greater or less than 22 grams of saturated fat per day, as long as they consume the same total of calories. However, diets high in saturated fat have been associated with increased LDL, bad cholesterol, and risk of heart disease. So yeah, from my understanding, as long as I control how much saturated fats I get, as long as I stay with like the same amount of calories, then I'm fine. This is a little bit different because I am still trying to lose weight now on my own. So I still don't eat much and I still burn a crazy amount of calories per day. So that's a little bit interesting. Um, so there is a potential risk of heart disease. However, I know that is super, super common with just being Asian. Um, I should have said this in the beginning. So my race is Asian. Like I'm actually Indian, born from the country of India. So yeah, I kind of knew that, but that was interesting to read. The next thing is caffeine consumption. And it says, based on your genetics, you are likely to drink less caffeine than average if you drink caffeine at all. So this is really true. I've never been the kind of person that's like, I have to have caffeine and I'm gonna like murder somebody if I don't get caffeine. That's never been me. I drink a little bit more caffeine now because caffeine can help speed up your metabolism. So because I'm not taking Fenterman anymore for weight loss, um, then my metabolism has like slowed down. I'm 4'11" due to a medical condition called precocious puberty. So I'm obviously not very tall. I just ran out of coffee like at work because I we have a Keurig and so I was buying my own pods. But I'm definitely backing off of it a little bit more. But I just had like a small cup before filming this. So for me, they say I'm likely to consume 217 mgs of. Apparently, they did average of 256 mgs per day. So looking at this chart, pull this one. It's not much. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but yeah, definitely not much. So that didn't really shock me. This next one, though, did shock me. And it said, based on your genetics, you are not likely to be especially deep sleeper. You guys don't know this about me, but I do not wake up when I sleep. Like when I am out, and there is nothing, and I repeat, nothing that can wake me up. This is one of I have to admit this is one of the reasons why I'm afraid to like live alone, because if like the fire alarm went off or a tornado alarm or something like went off, like when I say I won't hear it, like I won't hear it. Um so I looked into this a little bit more, and I did end up falling asleep with my watch on one night. Shouldn't say a couple nights, but it definitely did show that I was not in deep sleep for very long. Um, my phone is all the way over there, but yeah, it was kind of interesting. And did I have it on last night or the night before? The night before too, and it showed a very similar thing. I'm definitely gonna like not wear my watch during the day, probably like this upcoming Wednesday, since what happens is I work out like first thing in the morning, but I have my allergy shots Friday morning. And depending on my shots and how I'm feeling, I don't usually go as intense with the workout. I'll still work out, but I'll also give my wrist a break from wearing my watch. And so I'll wear it at night and really see what my sleep patterns are. So I did look up though that you can not be a deep sleeper, but be a heavy sleeper. So there's a difference in that, which I found very interesting because yeah, I don't wake up easily. My body is very much on a like normal sleep schedule, I guess. Like I can't sleep in to save the life of me. What I've been doing lately, and I don't like it, is falling asleep early. I don't like it because then I screw up my birth control schedule, and I think sometimes that can contribute to a bit of weight gain. Um, just for me personally, but that's just an assumption. I don't know if that's true. So that's kind of the thing I don't like right now. Like I literally fell asleep at like a little after 8:30 last night. And usually my schedule is like 10:30 till like 5:30. I woke up about the same time, close to 6. Um, which I haven't done lately, but because I don't have my alarm set for 5:30 on the weekends, then a few extra minutes is fine. I was up at 3 a.m., of course. So, yeah, that one shocked me. Moving on. The next one I was really, really curious on, and I was surprised to see that they do this test on everybody because it's more common for people with Asian descents. But it's alcoholic flush reaction. So if you don't know, more so with like Chinese and Japanese and Korean people, alcohol flush is when you consume alcohol, and it doesn't have to be like a lot, but it can be, and their face just turns like completely red. And so that's what this test is. And it said, based on your genetics, you are unlikely to flush after drinking alcohol. Luckily, honestly, I don't really drink alcohol. Um, I just I just don't. It's one of those things where like you do it when you're 21 because you're 21 and you I did it a little bit like afterwards because I'm like, yeah, 21, get a drink. And now it's like, why am I doing this? Especially now with me being more like health conscious and whatever. I just don't really prefer it. I will occasionally, like literally once in a blue moon, but yeah. Um, so that's good to know. The other thing is too, like I don't really do it because I don't know if there's a risk of me being an alcoholic. Just one of those things. So I just don't prefer it. And move that out of the way. That was a paycheck. The next thing was really interesting to me. And it said, based on your genetics, you are likely to be lactose intolerant. Now, this is super interesting. So, when I was younger, I got tested for lactose intolerance and it came back negative. But I've had moments in my life where it definitely seems like I've been a bit lactose intolerant. I just remember always kind of feeling like my stomach had flipped and like things just weren't settling well with my stomach. Interesting enough, when I got this report on like Wednesday, my stomach started acting a little bit weird. And I shouldn't even say stomach, but I'll just say like my bowel movements started to change a bit. And so I don't know if it's again because of the lactose or if it's literally just because I'm a week less now, a week away from my period. And so obviously, like with that, with PMSing and stuff, like your bowels can change and whatever. So that was really interesting. I did let my doctor know about that. And she's been aware of my slight stomach issues and whatever. So that's interesting to me because actually, my older sister, who's also Indian, born in the same place as me, she's actually lactose intolerant. And so I don't know if she's gotten like an official diagnosis for it or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna watch my stomach and my bowel movements the next couple of days, kind of let my period like pass and see what goes on because then I might force myself to get tested or whatever, or just have a conversation with my doctor and see, you know, should we test for this? Should we not? So yeah, kind of interesting to say the least. Now, this one shocked me so much. Is this the last one? No. This really shocked me. Muscle composition. Your genetic muscle composition is common in elite power. If you're new here, I am the least athletic person on the planet. I do theater. Theater is my sport. And so I'm not really athletic. Honestly, the only like thing that I'm pretty good at is dance. Fight me on that one if you don't think it's a sport, but I'm really only good at like dance and whatever. I could be good at bowling actually. I'm not a bad bowler to be honest. But yeah. this kind of makes sense with something with the next result, which is your genes. This is weight. So I always kind of blamed my obesity on A, my medical condition as a child, and B, like just not knowing what I am genetically supposed to be weight wise. So these two things kind of tie into each other a little bit. So for genes, for genetic weight, it says I am predisposed to weigh about 5% more than average. Um, and I really like how it says here this predisposition doesn't mean you'll definitely weigh more than average. Keep in mind that your lifestyle and environment have a huge impact on weight. So, because when I reported what my weight was at the time, it said for average, for me, height and obviously how old I am, which is 25. Average is 110 pounds. Yeah, it says it here. In your profile picture, you told us you weigh 130 pounds. Keep in mind that your lifestyle and environment have a huge impact on weight for reference. And then it goes into all of that. Interesting. It says recommended healthy weight range for someone your height is 92 to 123 pounds based on CDC guidelines. The cool thing about this one though is if you go into the app, they do have where you can calculate your BMI. And so I'm still trying to lose weight on my own. And because of muscle composition, it kind of makes sense why like I've kind of gained some back and whatever, and my doctor has said like that's completely normal to gain weight back, a little bit of weight back once you stop the medication. I had a whole conversation with her about it like last week, just through messaging and stuff. So it's definitely something I'm still struggling with, especially when water weight hits and that time of the month hits, because then I can definitely just like shoot up in weight. I actually ended up weighing myself every single like day this week. And luckily last week, because of a health thing, I ended up losing like 2.6 pounds and then maintaining like in the 135 range. And so that's where I maintained all week. Um, I did like gain a pound in water weight the other night, but that's because there's like 480 some mg's of sodium in a tortilla shell plus the ice cream that I had the night before. So, yeah, and I just had a Taco John's breakfast burrito this morning, so I'm definitely not going to weigh myself tomorrow morning, but sorry guys. So yeah, these two things are kind of interesting because they kind of go hand in hand, and I can kind of see why I might end up like weighing more or whatever. I mean, I really noticed like even though I've lost a lot of weight, my thighs are still really big, and it kind of makes sense because I grew up a dancer my entire life, and so to be stronger like with my legs and stuff just makes sense. So those are my results. I think I'm gonna end up doing the ancestry part more so because the ancestry part does traits of like your likelihood of having dimples. Um, it goes into like balding and some other things, which is more so that's what I'm interested in more than like is there anybody out there that I'm related to? And I'm not super curious about the ancestry part per se, but I think I'll do it anyways because the thing is with like being adopted and being a close adoptee, like everything just feels like a mystery, you know? So anytime you can do these tests and get like a piece of the puzzle put together, like it feels good, you know? I know my adopted parents have said, you know, a lot of time with like health in general and getting like health tested is like, well, why do you want to know? And I had to explain to them, like, okay, you guys have the advantage of looking at um your blood relatives and seeing, oh, okay, this person, this person, this person all have diabetes, so it's likely that I will end up having diabetes. We don't get that opportunity. And so, yeah, I'll end up doing that, and then I can share the results with you guys on that one as well. I think if you want to do genetic testing, um, just make sure it's for good reasons. Like I said, before I did this health one, I did consult my doctor um, to get some information first before proceeding. So I obviously highly suggest that. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe down below, hit the bell for notifications. I post every single weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.